In the 1980s, the world of snacks was a wild frontier of neon colors, bold flavors, and marketing genius. It was a time when the pantry and the lunchbox were treasure chests, filled with treats that seemed to appear as if by magic and, just as mysteriously, vanish from store shelves forever. Before the internet cataloged every limited edition flavor and online petitions could rally for a product's return, these snacks lived and died by their popularity on the playground and in the grocery cart. The first taste of something new and exciting was a shared experience, a secret whispered between friends in the schoolyard. One of the first and most lamented of these was a simple frozen delight that promised the comfort of pudding in the form of a popsicle. The Jell-O Pudding Pop was a revelation, a creamy, cold treat that was somehow both a dessert and a snack, a staple of summer afternoons and after-school rewards. It was a simple pleasure, but its disappearance left a void that for many has never quite been filled. That decade was a golden age for snack innovation, a time when food companies seemed to be in a constant race to outdo one another with ever more creative and sometimes bizarre creations. The fruit snack aisle, in particular, was a battleground. Following the monumental success of fruit roll-ups, a whole host of chewy, fruity contenders emerged. Among them were the Fruit Corners fruit bars, which took the rolled-up fruit leather concept and gave it the heft and substance of a granola bar. They came in flavors like cherry and strawberry, a dense, sweet bite that felt more substantial than its paper-thin cousins. Then there were Fruit Wrinkles, tiny, chewy nuggets of concentrated fruit flavor that came in small pouches, a perfect pocket-sized treat. They were touted as a healthier option, a source of vitamin C, a common marketing tactic of the era that convinced parents they were providing something wholesome, even as children knew they were consuming pure, unadulterated candy. But the creativity wasn't limited to sweets. The world of savory snacks was just as inventive. Keebler, a company now synonymous with cookies and crackers, once had a formidable empire of potato-based snacks. The undisputed king of this lost kingdom was Tato Skins. These weren't just potato-flavored chips. They were made with actual potato skins, giving them a hearty rustic texture that was unlike anything else on the market. They came in flavors that are now standard, like sour cream and chives or cheese and bacon. But back then, they were a novelty, a gourmet experience in a bag. They were thick, crunchy, and satisfying in a way that a regular potato chip could never be. Alongside them on the shelf were Keebler's O'Boysies, a lighter, flakier chip whose name was a clever play on the exclamation, "Oh boy," and the potato capital of Boise, Idaho. These snacks, and others like them, were a testament to the unbridled creativity of the time, a willingness to experiment with flavors and textures that seems to have faded in the modern, more streamlined world of snack food. The 1980s were also the era of the movie and television tie-in, and no snack captured this phenomenon quite like the Hi-C Ecto Cooler. Released to coincide with the immense popularity of the Ghostbusters franchise, this neon green, citrus-flavored drink became an instant icon. It was more than just a beverage, it was a cultural touchstone, a tangible piece of the Ghostbusters universe that kids could own and consume. The image of Slimer on the juice box was as recognizable as the Ghostbusters logo itself. The drink outlasted the original cartoon by years, a testament to its enduring popularity. Its eventual disappearance sparked a level of nostalgia so powerful that its occasional, limited edition re-releases are met with a frenzy of excitement, with collectors and fans willing to pay exorbitant prices for a taste of their childhood. This was the power of 1980s marketing, the ability to create a product that was so intertwined with a beloved piece of pop culture that it became a cherished memory in its own right. Beyond the world of movies, the candy aisle was a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes. Bonkers, a chewy, fruity candy, was a prime example. Its advertising campaign was as memorable as the candy itself, featuring a series of bizarre commercials where a prim and proper woman would calmly explain the candy's attributes, while giant, cartoonish fruits fell from the sky, causing chaos and destruction around her. The candy itself was a simple pleasure, a soft, chewy rectangle with a burst of fruit flavor in the center. It came in classic flavors like grape, strawberry, and watermelon, the latter of which was cleverly designed with a green outer layer and a red center, mimicking the fruit it was named after. Like so many others, Bonkers eventually disappeared, leaving behind only the faint, sweet memory of its flavor and the surreal images of its commercials. For those who preferred a bit of a crunch with their sweet, there were Nabisco's Giggles, a cookie that was literally designed to make you smile. These were sandwich cookies, similar to Oreos, but with a twist. The chocolate cookies were stamped with a variety of smiling and laughing faces, and they came with two different fillings, vanilla and fudge. They were a simple, cheerful treat, a favorite in lunchboxes and after-school snacks. They were, as one fan on the internet fondly recalled, better than Oreos, a high praise in the world of cookies. But like a fleeting smile, Giggles were gone too soon, discontinued before the decade was out, leaving a generation of kids to wonder what happened to the cookies that smiled back at them. And what about the snacks that defied categorization? The ones that were a little bit of everything, a testament to the more is more philosophy of the 1980s? The Carnation Breakfast Bar was a prime example. It was a crunchy, nutty, chocolate-covered bar that was marketed as a complete breakfast in a convenient, on-the-go form. The commercials claimed that a single bar and a glass of milk provided the same nourishment as a plate of bacon, eggs, and toast. Whether or not that was true is debatable, but what is certain is that these bars were delicious. They were a dense, satisfying treat that blurred the lines between a candy bar and a health food, a perfect encapsulation of the era's sometimes conflicting desires for both convenience and nutrition. They were a staple of the 1980s, a quick and easy breakfast for a generation on the move, and their disappearance left a void in the morning routines of many. Then there were the snacks that were a feat of engineering, a marvel of food science. Dooley's filled snacks were a prime example. These were potato chip shells, light and crispy, filled with a creamy, flavorful dip. They were like a self-contained chip and dip, a party in a single bite. They came in flavors like sour cream and onion and nacho cheese. And they were, as one fan recalled, the bomb. They weren't around for long, a fleeting, brilliant flash in the pan of the 1980s snack world. But for those who remember them, they were a taste of the future, a snack that was ahead of its time. And who could forget the Oreo Big Stuff? This was not just a bigger Oreo. It was a monument to excess, a cookie so large it had to be individually wrapped. At 3 inches in diameter, it was the size of a small dessert, a sugar rush of epic proportions. It was a novelty, a challenge, a cookie that was meant to be shared, but was often devoured in a single, glorious sitting. It was a testament to the idea that bigger is better, a philosophy that was embraced with open arms in the 1980s. But like all good things, the reign of the big stuff had to come to an end. And by 1991, this giant of the cookie world was gone, leaving behind only the legend of its immense size and the sweet, sweet memory of its taste. These are just a few of the lost flavors of the 1980s, a decade of bold experimentation and unforgettable tastes. They were more than just snacks. They were a part of the fabric of childhood, a source of joy and comfort, a currency of friendship, and a symbol of a time when the world seemed a little brighter, a little more colorful, and a lot more delicious. They may be gone from the shelves, but they live on in the memories of those who were lucky enough to have tasted them, a sweet, nostalgic echo of a bygone era. What we can learn from this journey back in time is that food is more than just sustenance. It is a powerful trigger for memory, a tangible link to our past. The snacks of our childhood are not just empty calories. They are the building blocks of our memories, the flavors and textures that transport us back to a time of innocence and wonder. The disappearance of these beloved treats is a reminder that nothing is permanent, that even the most iconic products can fade into obscurity. It is a lesson in appreciating the simple pleasures of life, the fleeting moments of joy that come in a colorful wrapper or a crunchy bite. And it is a testament to the enduring power of nostalgia, the bittersweet longing for a past that can never be reclaimed, but can be savored in the sweet, hazy memories of a time when a trip to the grocery store was an adventure. And the greatest treasure of all was a lunchbox filled with the lost flavors of the 1980s. In the end, what we are left with are the stories. The stories of trading snacks in the schoolyard, of begging parents for the latest and greatest treat, of the simple, unadulterated joy of a new flavor. These stories are the legacy of these vanished snacks, the proof that they were more than just food. They were a part of our lives, a part of our history, a part of who we are. And as long as we continue to tell these stories, to share these memories, the lost flavors of the 1980s will never truly be gone. How did we even survive back then, in a world without on-demand everything? The acquisition of these coveted snacks was an art form, a dance of persuasion and opportunity. It began with the Saturday morning cartoons, a vibrant, animated catalog of all the things a kid could ever want. The commercials were a masterclass in manipulation, a barrage of bright colors, catchy jingles, and happy smiling faces. They planted the seeds of desire, the unshakable conviction that life would be immeasurably better with a box of C3PO cereal or a packet of Dr. Pepper gum. The next step was the grocery store, a battleground of wills between parent and child. The cereal aisle was a particularly intense war zone, a gauntlet of cartoon characters and sugary promises. A well-timed plea, a carefully crafted argument about the nutritional value of a particular snack, usually gleaned from the commercial, or, as a last resort, a full-blown tantrum, were all tools in the arsenal of the 1980s child. The victory was sweet, the triumphant ride home with a box of forbidden treasures in the grocery bag, a feeling of pure, unadulterated joy. But the journey didn't end there. The lunchbox was the ultimate status symbol, a declaration of one's identity and a showcase of one's snacking prowess. The contents of that lunchbox were a carefully curated collection, a mix of the mundane, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the magnificent, a Hostess pudding pie, or a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. The lunch table was a trading floor, a bustling marketplace where a well-placed snack could be leveraged for maximum gain. A fruit roll-up could be traded for a handful of giggles, a squeeze-it for a taste of a friend's Tato Skins. The art of the deal was learned early. The value of a rare or desirable snack, a lesson in economics that no textbook could ever teach. The packaging itself was a part of the experience. The satisfying crinkle of a chip bag, the peel of a fruit snack from its plastic backing, the satisfying pop of a can of sliced soda. These were the sounds of childhood, the sensory details that are etched into the memories of a generation. The act of eating these snacks was a ritual, a moment of pure, unadulterated pleasure in the midst of a long school day. It was a taste of freedom, a small rebellion against the world of adults and their sensible, healthy food. It was a shared experience, a bond forged in the crucible of the school cafeteria, a secret society of snack connoisseurs who understood the profound and simple joy of a well-packed lunchbox. And what about the snacks that were enjoyed at home? The after-school ritual of dropping one's backpack on the floor, kicking off one's shoes and heading straight for the pantry was a sacred one. This was the time for the more substantial snacks, the ones that required a bit more preparation. A plate of Geno's pizza rolls, those bite-sized pockets of molten cheese and pepperoni, was a feast fit for a king. A bowl of Smurf Berry Crunch cereal with its brightly colored Smurf-shaped marshmallows was a Technicolor dream. The freezer was a treasure trove of frozen delights, from the aforementioned Jell-O Pudding Pops to the equally beloved Hostess pudding pies, a flaky, fruit-filled pastry that was a staple of the 1980s. The VCR was another essential component of the after-school snacking experience. A well-worn copy of The Goonies or E.T. was the perfect accompaniment to a bag of popcorn or a bowl of ice cream. This was a time before the internet, before streaming services and social media. Entertainment was a more deliberate, more communal experience. A trip to the video store was an event, a chance to browse the aisles and pick out the perfect movie for a Friday night. And the snacks that accompanied these movie nights were an integral part of the experience, the fuel that powered the imaginations of a generation. What we can learn from this trip down memory lane is that the snacks of the 1980s were more than just food. They were a reflection of the culture, a tangible piece of a time that was defined by its optimism, its creativity, and its unbridled sense of fun. The bright colors, the bold flavors, the cartoon characters, These were all a part of the larger-than-life aesthetic of the decade. The focus on convenience, on snacks that could be eaten on the go, was a reflection of a society that was becoming increasingly fast-paced. The movie and television tie-ins were a testament to the growing power of pop culture, the way that entertainment was becoming more and more intertwined with our daily lives. The disappearance of these snacks is a reminder that culture is constantly evolving, that the things we hold dear today may be gone tomorrow. It is a lesson in the impermanence of trends, the fleeting nature of popularity, but it is also a reminder of the enduring power of nostalgia, the way that a simple taste or smell can transport us back to a time and a place that we thought was lost forever. In the end, what we are left with are the memories. The memories of a time when a trip to the grocery store was an adventure, when a lunchbox was a treasure chest, and when a simple snack could bring a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. These memories are the legacy of these vanished snacks, the proof that they were more than just empty calories. They were a part of our lives, a part of our history, a part of who we are. And as long as we continue to tell these stories, to share these memories, the lost flavors of the 1980s will never truly be gone. They will live on in the hearts and minds of those who were lucky enough to have tasted them, a sweet, nostalgic echo of a bygone era.